What is that? So in this, I'm going to be covering remote viewing data on an incident that happened earlier this year during a remote viewing training workshop that I did here at Jaya Sanctuary. Now, it was the 8th of March, again 2025, and this is the object at Jaya Sanctuary that I filmed with many witnesses.
String behind it.
Got a tail, yeah.
It's got a tail.
Holy
Goes
moly.
close.
Man, that's not a plane. What is that?
Insane.
That's coming in.
It's coming to us.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Whoa!
goodness. To the left. Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
And another one's coming at us.
Oh, what is that? Look at the tail.
Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at the tail on it. That is amazing. That is just the coolest thing. Holy
What is going on? Wait, look at this one over here.
Over here to the left.
Yeah.
And it's phasing out, but oh, look at that tail.
Wow. That's not even something re-entering. You don't go that slow.
Oh my God, look at
Where's
that.
the other one over here?
It phased out.
That's disappeared.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was seen by many people around Australia, as I'll go into now, with an ABC News article, which is from Sunday, 9th of March. So, slow-moving burning object in southern Australian skies prompt calls for regulation of space junk. But was it space junk? In short, a large, slow-moving fireball has been filmed moving across southern Australian skies on Saturday night. Social media posts reported seeing what is believed to be space junk over southern New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia and Tasmania. Dozens of people have reported what was believed to be burning space junk moving across southern Australian skies on Saturday night. Videos and comments have been posted across social media sites from Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia and Tasmania just after 10 p.m. So, just one of my takeaways from this is that dozens of people have reported what was believed to be burning space junk moving across southern Australian skies on Saturday night. Now, I've let this go for months, and here I am now at the start of September. This happened on the 8th of March. It's best to sometimes give things time. I haven't seen any further articles related to this. I believe at the time there was a few sent to me, but it was nothing confirmed of what it actually was. With other articles of other events, we do see that it's related to a specific rocket or specific space junk event, and they can confirm, yeah, that's whatever it is. This never had an actual answer. And I got some really good footage of it on two cameras. One of the cameras was a Sony A7S II that I let run as it was pointed in the direction because I didn't want to run past the tree line with the Sony A7S II on a tripod. And what I did have on me at the time was the Psionics coloured night vision.
Look at that. It's coming back to us. Wait, that's the dry. Wait, no, that's not a dry.
Whoa, look at that.
Oh, look at the powered up. There's a jet behind it. Yeah, tail. Holy moly.
Hell, it's like a
That's not a plane. What is that? Oh, look at that.
At the start, there wasn't one but two, and one of these fireballs went up, and I've seen very similar stuff before. Also, we initiated contact before it, after wrapping up the remote viewing workshop, and to add to it, this thing stayed at a steady pace, didn't dip or go up in altitude, and we basically saw it from where we first had our eyes on it, which would have been the southwestern skies, and it went north continuously until out of view, as you can see with the footage. Now, is there a possibility that this was a vehicle coming in, extraterrestrial vehicle, and it had something done to it to make it possibly crash? I don't know. All I know is that the first thing I thought, is that a drone? Is it this? Is it that? Many people responded in the same way. We're commenting on the trail, but seeing a lot of meteors and a lot of stuff outside before and having a lot of experiences, what I can tell you is for it to keep the same altitude and the same speed, just weird in and of itself. So what I did at the latest remote viewing workshop, I got those in training to view it without them knowing that they were viewing it, because I do blind targets when I'm doing this. Sometimes you can front load, which is where the viewers actually know what the target already is, but this was done blindly. So I've given you the point of view from what was relayed in the ABC article. It's not belittling who's in the article, who's written it, who's mentioned in it whatsoever, but this is just to add, we could say, another data point. And let's look at that data now. Here we have, and I would like to point out the ideograms, which is the squiggle that you do after you write down the target numbers, is very similar in each case. In this case with this viewer, they've done the ideogram and gone into broken, cracked, colours, olive green, brown, smells gunpowder, smoke, taste dust, sounds mechanical, tracks. There's a bit of a drawing there. Dimensions, motions, large, movement. How would you feel if you were there, on edge? How would the site look if you were there? Tank, armoured vehicle. And in the AOL, which is the analytical overlay, which you can sometimes think it's you making it up, or it's too... It couldn't be that because it's the first thing I'm thinking. It sort of is when things are in our face. Sometimes it can be completely off. But in the AOL... sometimes as well, it can be spot on. In this case with the AOL, I'd like to point out mirror or sun reflection on metal surface. So that's pretty interesting. Moving on, again, look at the ideogram from the last one. Very interesting with the spiral type effect and even the line in the middle. Now, if you look to the right here of the target number, they've actually drawn the object in the sky and another one underneath it that could be even coming from it. And there's movement there. Remember I said at the start, when we first saw this object, there was two of them and one actually went up. Now, does space junk go up? It's just some food for thought. Now, again, the ideograms are very similar. Now going into the colours of blue, green, and white. Smell, ozone, sounds, buzz. Now, moving on again. Here with the viewer, they've done their own version of the ideogram and they've done some writing around it. Now, again, we've got this sort of spiral effect and a line going through it. It's sort of just very symbolic and very similar to the others, though a little bit different. They've written disconnected time from target, then brought back in blanked. So there seems to be some form of disconnect happening from the target, and like as if space-time possibly is gone missing, and then they're brought back in and blanked, but they're aware that there's been a disconnect. Pen sinking or stuck on probe, muscle twitches, heat, object or subject, moving, rolling, go back up. Now it's interesting, as I mentioned at the start, one of the objects went back up. And we've had the tumbling, rolling motion mentioned a couple of times. Now, as we go into more of the data, textures, pipe, plumbing, colours, brownie, greens, smells, lemon, nature. Very interesting because at the time I had a lemon tree near that area where we were, but there is other citrus trees there as well. Sounds, something, circulating. Dimensions, motions, flowing in a direction like a channel. Forwards and backwards, movement along a path, rolling. They've mentioned that a couple of times. AOL. Now what they've got is aerial views of Amazon-like jungle, racecourse horsehair, river snaking. I'm very close to the Murray River, which would have been a great aerial view from whatever this was. So the Murray River does snake. We also have a racecourse nearby on the other side of the border, which I'm not far from. The river's there, and it's very jungly around where I am, as well as around parts of the Murray River. Now, as we move on, look at the ideogram again. Now, with the ideogram, in some cases, it can really represent what the target is. So moving on, this person's got with textures soft, woolly, wavy, colours turquoise. Now, with temperatures, it's warm, artificial, sounds, a hum, vibration like an AC, air conditioner. Dimensions and motions, vehicle, growth. How would you feel if you were there? A little ungrounded, lightheaded. How would the site look like if you were there? Tunnel, vibrations, outwards, flowers, flower of life. Another thing we could say that is a cross-correlation here is a vehicle is mentioned a couple of times. Is it a vehicle because it's moving or because the object actually is a vehicle? Some food for thought. A lot of people felt there that night that it was beyond space junk, that it definitely wasn't a drone, it wasn't a plane. And here we are with a news article with many people reporting to see the same thing, though it's slightly different in different angles of camera footage. It's theorised it was space junk. So, what is it? Well, that's the data. You decide. And as always, look for the fruit in the information. In this case, I hope it sets to be an example of how gathering data is a good thing to do, to sometimes sit on things. And also, sometimes we still don't have an answer in terms of what is going on in certain circumstances. But to investigate is important and to use discernment.